Hello, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Hello.
How are you? All good?
Well, trying.
Trying, no?
Trying to be in
good.
best form, yes.
If we try, we succeed.
Yes.
All right. So here we have the game against Browne Walter.
Yeah, he was a super American grandmaster in that period, and this one, the game we present today, was probably one of the most important games of the tournament in Novi Sad, in one decisive moment, because I had to win with white to try to win the tournament. So I mean, he had his chance also because he was one of the favorites also. So the game will be very interesting in one of the sharpest variations of the Queen's Indian. So after e6, knight f3, b6, a3, the so-called Petrosian variation with a3, played also by Kasparov, many others, other super grandmaster in that time. And I played also with successfully in a lot of games. And the game I played against Browne was very interesting because he was always very well prepared theoretically. So we'll see. So this is the position, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So d5 and nu spuneți, când putem începe? C takes d5, yeah? C takes d5.
Vorbiți direct.
Okay. C takes d5, and right now he took back with the knight. This is the alternative is E takes d5. We had another game against Adorian, if you remember. It was completely different, but it was the alternative. So after knight takes d5, white plays e3, and after bishop e7, it's a very important check in b5. It's the first important moment because now black can lose very quickly by playing the wrong move, knight c6 or knight d7. In both cases, after knight e5, black is already lost. He loses immediately. Here, after queen d6, queen a4, he loses a piece. Or even after knight e4, he loses a piece. There's no difference. Knight e4. Now, there's no defense. Yeah. So, of course, knight c6 or knight d7, big mistakes. So after knight, bishop b5 checks, c6 is a good move. c6, bishop back to d3, and now castle, e4, knight takes e3, b takes e3, c5, castle, and now knight d7. Probably it was a little bit better. Later on we can see that because he tries to come there, later on in the game. Knight c6 was the most normal move, you see, instead of knight d7. But knight d7 is playable, of course, for black. It's no problem. But now white is a little bit better in every position if both players play the normal moves. You see, white is slightly better. So, okay, queen e2, rook c8, and now bishop b2. The alternative here was bishop f4, also very good for white. But okay, bishop b2 is a little bit more quiet, but also very good. Bishop b2. White decides to play on the queen side. The first moves, the next few moves plays on the queen side. So after queen c7, knight d2, trying to, in some cases, to come to c4. Or if not, to have a very strong position on the central squares. Knight d2, bishop g5, the best move to have some counter chances.
So you said white is looking to play on the queen side?
The idea in some cases is to play a4 and knight c4. But in our game, it was not necessary. It was not necessary to come with the knight on c4. The knight stays in d2, and white has always a little bit, a small advantage in every case. So, okay, bishop g5 is a very normal move, a little bit active also, trying to get some counter chances in every position. So, okay, a4 is the normal move, of course, trying to get something on the queen side, opens a little bit the queen side. Nothing decisive, but very normal move. It's okay, rook d8. So now rook d1, g6, a5, and now black has to wait. And of course, he plays the normal move, bishop h6. Yeah. So I took him b6, he took him b6, and now a very good move, f3. F3 is very good because closes the diagonal of the white bishop from b7. We'll see later on why it's so important, the move f3. So rook a8, of course, now black tries to get some immediate, some counterplay on the queen side by trying to get the a file, immediately. So now e5. Now e5 is important because now we have the square e4 for a piece, especially for the knight from d2. The knight from d2 comes later on in e4. So, okay, he takes in a1. Now, it was very important to take with the bishop because if white took with the rook was already a big mistake. I mean, taking with the rook was bad because he could take in d2 with the bishop, queen takes d2, and knight takes e5. And if you take in e5 after c4, black is probably almost winning. He recaptures the piece, and it's very bad for white. After rook takes d3 is very unpleasant. So of course that was a big mistake. So bishop takes a1 is the right move. Rook a8 immediately to take the file. And now, as I told you before, knight e4. The knight comes very quickly on the central square. Now controls every square in the center, and white is a little bit better in all positions. So okay, he took in d4, I took in d4, he played bishop d5, again a strong move. He's threatening rook a2, some initiative. So bishop c3, rook a2, the normal move, queen e1, bishop c4. Okay, and after bishop c4, queen f1. Of course, white doesn't take in c4, because after bishop takes c4, queen takes c4, black has no problem at all. Black is maybe a little bit better. So after queen f1, if black takes in d3, queen takes d3, and again, small advantage for white in all variations. So bishop e3 check, king h1, and now he realized it's not good to take in d3, has nothing, so he played back in d5. And here in the next moves, he proposed draw. It seems that the game is more or less even, but in reality, white is a little bit better in every position. So we'll see that very quickly. So rook a1. Now he took in a1, of course. Queen takes a1. Queen c6. Okay. So h4. It doesn't threaten anything, but white has a little bit more space. So, and after h5, king h2, we are both in time trouble, and black has to play and try to get some counterplay. This is very unpleasant because he is worse, and he has no counterplay. I mean, immediately, you see. So he has to wait. And after bishop h6, bishop b4, now it's clear that white is better, has more space, and very active position. So and after bishop f8, surprisingly enough, white will win quickly enough. In a few moves, and everything will be forced. You see, bishop f8, bishop takes f8, king takes f8, and now knight d6. Now we can see the knight from d6 is very strong. It threatens everything. Now the immediate threat is bishop b5 with very strong initiative. So now he has to go back with queen c7, bishop b5, and finally in time trouble he tries to get the knight from b8 in c6, but it's too late. Now white moves, and white has very strong initiative and wins quickly enough. Bishop e8, decisive, because now is mating attack, already. So you see, he has no coordination. The pieces are in some bad positions, all three of them. The only good piece is in d5, but it's too little. White has a very big advantage already, And after king g3, threatens to take immediately the pawn from f7, and it's decisive advantage. Okay, g5 is the only move, but it's, as I told you, it's too late. And after queen c1, the mate threats will be immediate and that comes very quick. The decision comes very quickly. So he took in h4, king h3. Now king g7, the only move. Bishop takes f7. Knight c6 finally, you know. Queen f4, king h7, the only move again, and knight e8, and black resigned because now the position is completely winning for white. He has no counterplay at all, and the immediate threat is mate in 3. I mean, let's say white has to play here. After knight f6 check, king g7, queen g5 check, king takes f7, queen g8 mate. This is the threat, you know. And he can't do anything against this threat, and so he resigned. The game was very important theoretically and decisive for the first place. After this victory, I was sure that I can win the super tournament from Novi Sad. No.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was very nice. Yeah, against a super grandmaster. I mean, he was the best American player after Bobby in that period. You know.
Yeah, it seemed equal, and then
Well,
suddenly
it was very small advantage if you look
yes.
at the position. But finally, White could demonstrate that the advantage was big enough and the advantage was decisive. You know? So therefore, it was important.
Yeah, I remember I met Mr. Browne in Las Vegas a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was playing at a big open, chess open. It's
Yeah.
actually an open happening during Christmas time.
Yes, yes.
With hundreds of players. They have like the open session
Yes,
with grandmasters and also other categories. And he was very passionate about playing. Like there was
No, he was a very strong player. I mean,
Yeah.
he won 6 times the tournament, the U.S. championship. That is very rare, you know. And of course, he was one of their strongest players, and therefore our game was so important and so nice, also, you know, so important theoretically. It was a big fight like this, you know.
Yeah, I remember it was a blitz tournament with
Yeah,
to warm up, and he was really like hitting
yeah,
the
he
clock
was pushing all
and
the time.
pushing
Yes,
to
yes,
win.
yes,
And
yes, yes. Yeah.
all right, thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Gheorghiu.
Yeah.